The question that people ask, what do you want to be when you get older? And I would always say, I want to be a doctor, and I like to have an orphanage for 100 kids. And I don't know, I'm sure that's part of God's humor and the whole thing that years later, I wanted to be a doctor, but God redirected my life, and I became a missionary.
I guess my ambition's kind of funny. I wanted to be in a motorcycle gang. But at an early age of 17 years old, I found the Lord, and He changed my direction. I went on my very first trip to Mexico when I was 18 years old, and that's when I really knew in my heart that God was calling me to be a full-time missionary.
My missionary life started when actually I did not make it into medical school. I took the MCAT test, and by a two-line mark, I didn't make it into the medical school. And my grandmother, who's so dear to me, she's the one that encouraged me to go to another country, perhaps to try to, do some missionary work. And on that trip to Canada is where everything changed for me. Bob and I, we were missionaries in Guatemala for 8 years, and we worked there in a slum area, and we got involved with the people there, and the people loved us, and it was a very dangerous, very, very dangerous community, but we never encountered evil or bad things happened to us through the 8 years that we worked there. But we established a church in that community, and we helped the people, we helped the children, we helped the women. And when we were there, we met another missionary who asked us if we were interested in coming to Nicaragua. And that's when our lives kind of took the sharp turn from Guatemala to Nicaragua, because they needed missionaries in Nicaragua. 2002, when the newspaper landed in my hands of that little boy with the rape cases showing, and I saw the need, the greatest need in this area. I knew that it had to be a commitment that is not just, the change doesn't come overnight. And the commitment, when you got here, the first questions that the families would ask, when are you leaving? When are you going home? And over the years, people would ask me, so when are you going home? So I knew that they knew that people would only come here to visit them and not stay with them. And when I said, well, I'm coming back, or I'm coming back, and eventually that question, when are you going, was never asked in a sense of, are you going to leave us? So nowadays, there is just no way. I know that I have to pray the day that I no longer have the strength or death come to me, that I have to go for good. Even the thought of leaving these kids, it breaks my heart, because I'm just thinking, what is it going to take, or who's going to take the vision that God has given me to help these kids. In 2002 is when we actually opened up the feeding centers. And since then, it's been a challenge to feed we're feeding over 200 children, and the need is great. This community, it's not that people don't want to work. They're mainly, they focus on farming, and how, because of the world warming or the climate changing, the crops some years are good, some years are not so good, and the farmers relied on their basic products that they have been working for years, and there is no innovation, no one that comes in and say, don't just do coffee, beans, and corn, do different vegetables like in Guatemala. Self-sustainable education, or an education that would give them a sustainability for the future, is this is what we need to do, and this is why I'm here, and this is why this school now exists, and this is why we move in the clinic here, so that the kids will learn that there is a higher step that they can go to, by educating themselves. As you know, to run a school, it's incredibly expensive. Just to raise seeds, just to keep the crops growing, and to educate the kids, to have teachers. I don't have the support that I need to pay even one teacher right now. So it's even what we're doing, it's at a level 1 or step 1. And I want to jump to step 10, but I can't. And so I need help. I need support for the school. I need support for the feeding center so that we continue to feed over 200 kids. We still need electricity on our second feeding center. I need solar panels, and those are expensive. The batteries, the clinic is going to need, we're going to need an income to get the nurse and the doctor. It's just no ending to the needs. But I don't stop there. I keep going, and with what I have and what God has provided, and He has faithfully provided, we're going to continue on. The look of the child in my eyes when they ask me for something, or they have a question, or they have a homework to do, and they don't have that at home, and they come here because they find hope and they have an answer to even a simple question of a homework. And I want to be here so that I can help the child to get to where their future is. God says He's going to give us a hope in the future.
What keeps me going every day is the great need that exists in the heart of mankind. And that's what has motivated me since I've been 18 years old, when God called me to be a full-time missionary, a foreign missionary. The need of telling others about who Jesus is and how He wants to bring hope in the future.
But he's come home and share out of his heart. He goes, the meeting went really well today. And when he speaks to these hard policemen that they come from the streets and they just saw a shooting or something, and they come and they break to tears, to the point of tears, saying, my wife is about to split with me, or my children are not doing well. And they break that, and He's able to pray with them, and He's able to give them God's word, and He's able to encourage them. There is a hope. There is God. Here's how you do it. This is how you can become a better policeman. Here is how you can become, a protector of the community, because they asked them, can a policeman be a Christian? And of course, all authority is given by God to protect the community. And He's been able to say, yes, you can be a great policeman and still be a Christian.
Thank you so much for your faithfulness over these past 15 years here in Rancho Grande. Without your faithful help, your prayers, your financial giving, this would not be possible. We want to thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much.